Howdy again, kiddos. Just wanted to take this opportunity to do a little more nature talk with you up here, thinking about, you know, the elements and stuff. Let's see, yeah, that's a little better. So I'm squinting, but you know, to get good light, I gotta have the light coming right in my face. So, you know, back to the point about people's worries about the Outer Banks eventually just disappearing and flying off into the ocean. Again, I very much dispute that. I think they will be here for an extremely long time, longer than you or I can imagine. They are very, very old. Many hundreds, if not thousands of years old. You know, I don't know exactly how long the Outer Banks have been here. I gotta look that up, and you can go look it up on your own. I'm not exactly sure how long these immense sand dunes have been here, but if you think about things, well, you know, how did these sand dunes get here in the first place? A long time of erosion, right? Which, as many would probably imagine, probably came from over there, from the sand getting beat and beat and beat by the waves, right? Where did a lot of that sand end up? Right here. Not very far, right? So there are a lot of holes in the theory of, oh, the Outer Banks are just gonna wash away one day. Oh, first of all, I don't know, it's kind of off in the distance. It's gonna be hard for you to see, but it's really cool because this spot right here that I'm at, you can just make out some beach homes there, and you can see the ocean, the Atlantic, over on that distance. Then all you do is turn around right over here and you can see the Sound. Really cool. So you can see both from, you know, at least a couple of different spots here. So again, I definitely do not believe that we have yet experienced any significant sea level rise. I'm not saying that that may not happen off into the future, okay? Not nearly as soon as they would like you to believe. We definitely have not seen that yet. When you talk to anybody that lives on the coast, especially people who work on the water, as I've mentioned over and over, there's only one word that they mention, and it's really not that they don't believe in sea level, but it's just what they observe. You know, the water line on their docks is all at the same place, okay? The water line on the bridges that were built many decades ago is still at the same place, okay? And all they talk about is erosion. So, getting back to other things I've talked about with you guys, my hat blew away once again, like it did off the pier the other day. Getting back to erosion, this erosion can certainly be exacerbated by certain things. Now, as many of you have mentioned, we have seen, and despite temperature fluctuations, okay, that I mentioned the other day, you know, heat waves and blizzards and stuff. But what we haven't experienced, what we have experienced an uptick in, certainly that I believe that I've studied and that I've observed myself, are more violent swings in the weather, okay? More intense storms, more polar vortex events, okay? Which explains the fact that I'm pretty much stuck around at 80 degrees this whole week here at the beach in early August, okay? That's very abnormal, right? And that alone is not proof that there's no global warming. What I'm saying is that we are in a severe oscillation, okay, from every couple of days to the next couple of days, from one week to the next, right? We are seeing very marked and pronounced swings of violent weather and of calm weather, right? Of weather that's abnormally warm and weather that's abnormally cool. Much of that can be explained again by the polar vortex event that I keep talking about, okay? And again, that doesn't just happen in the wintertime. It's really happening all year round now, and certainly explains the fact that I'm, again, sitting here at the beach in early August, and I'm hardly going to see temps break above 80 degrees or so. But like I said, due to other things that I mentioned, the geomagnetic reversal in progress, which affects clouds and affects storms, okay, because of a bombardment of solar wind and cosmic particles penetrating the atmosphere and affecting cloud formation, so on and so forth. Like I've also mentioned, what is almost certainly an observance of us entering another Milankovitch cycle, which, as I mentioned in other videos, hopefully you caught them, I'll try to link them, has to do with basically tilt, wobble, and stretch. Although if we're talking about Milankovitch cycles, I think we're pretty much talking about tilt and wobble, and not so much very, very periodic, elongation of the Earth's orbit. But like I said before, if you think about it, any small disturbance in our variation from 23.5 degrees, right? Any small variance one way or the other is going to have a very marked effect on our climate. Any wobbling, again, like I mentioned before, like the way that a top begins to wobble when it slows down, a spinning top. Any gyrating object, right, when it slows down, it begins to wobble. All of these things are certainly becoming, coming into play. And like I said, I believe they're all connected. I believe that that the disturbances in nutation and tilt and wobble and things like that are directly linked with the geomagnetic reversal that we're probably 30 years into by now, 20 years or so. But anyways, all this leads up to more violent weather, more erratic weather, more swings, more violent swings back and forth, like I said, from warm to cold, cold to warm, from calm to violent, from violent to calm. Our weather is just going like bing, 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 bing. There has been no straight line trajectory, okay, ever since we've noticed some severe disturbances, like back in 2000. Wait, was it? Yeah, I think 2000. Oh crap, guys. Or 2005. I think I'm gonna go with 2005, when we had so many hurricanes that NOAA, went from A to Z, and then they had to keep going again, right? And that was the year of I think not only Katrina, but Wilma, Irene, and many others that were very, very devastating. To me, 2005, okay, so we could say the last 20 years, was really the kickoff of a very marked observances. That same year, we also saw records broken in the central states. Places like Colorado, they were searing well into the hundreds. And then we've seen things crash, and then we've seen them go back up, and we've seen them crash. Likewise, we've seen periods of calm and a lot cooler than normal, and then they've just been, boom, the next time you turn around, it's much warmer than normal. There are many, many storms, and the storms are more severe. So getting back to my final point, the marked uptick in severe storms is what's causing more erosion right now. But again, the sand has to go somewhere, right? We don't live in a vacuum. We live in a scientific world governed by the law of conservation, that every one effect has another effect, and the sand has to blow somewhere, right? It's not going to blow miles and miles and miles off into the sea or into the sound or into nowhere. It's going to blow a couple few hundred feet, a couple few thousand feet, maybe a couple thousand yards, and then it's going to redeposit, right? It's going to redeposit somewhere. So in short, guys, that's why I am very, very sure that the Outer Banks will be here for a long time. Like I said, they may and certainly will look a little bit different in 30 years, 70 years, what have you. That's the nature of a barrier island. It is it's at one time very stable, but it's also impermanent, and it shifts. You know, and there might be, you know, there might be a new inlet formed by the next big storm. But I, for one, am not convinced by any means that the Outer Banks won't be here in 30 years or 60 years. I mean, that's just ridiculous to anybody that really studies earth science. Anyhow, guys, that's it. I'll try to do another one here at sunset. Wish me luck on that. We'll see you then.